Hello once again, audience. It is I, Dan here, aka A4Sky, and welcome to another video on the A4Sky channel. So today's video is actually a nerdy video. Yes, I'm doing a nerdy video on the A4Sky channel instead of wasting my time on the A4Sky Dork, where I keep the video games and all that. So this video is my top 10 favorite animes of all time. Oh, I love the acoustics here. Like bounces off the walls and stuff. I'm gonna start off with a couple special mentions. Two animes that did not make this list, but I absolutely love them. The first one is Black Clover. It's about a character named Asta who lives in a world where everyone has magic, but he somehow does not have any. And they have a title, the highest title you could reach as a magic knight is what they're called. And they have groups that they get into and like clans sort of. The Magic Knight squads is what all the different magic knights are part of. And Asta wants to become the Wizard King, the ultimate wizard of all time. So for the second anime that didn't quite make the cut, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Such a great anime. The main character, Satoru Mikami, ends up getting stabbed, dies, wakes up in this whole realm. I can't tell if it's a video game or just another dimension altogether. He wakes up as a slime, which those who play JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games, you know that slimes are like the worst creature, like the weakest character or creatures you fight in the games. But he ends up getting all these badass powers, and it just... So now time for my top 10. I'm going to start getting into my top 10 with... I'm going to do a special mention towards the end because there was one that was so close to making it, but it didn't make the cut. So, my number 10 favorite anime of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho with Yusuke Urameshi. And I can't remember, it's been so long that I've watched it, I can't remember. Kurabara, I think, is his best friend, ends up becoming his best friend in it. But Yusuke Urameshi ends up dying, comes across the spirit world, ends up saving some, like, talking with, I'm trying to remember how the plot goes. He ends up talking with this girl he really liked while he's in spirit form. And he ends up getting brought back to life and becomes a spirit detective where he hunts down demons and stuff, fights them using spirit energy, and it is a long series, but a good one. Time for number 9. Now, number 9 is different from all the other ones on this list because it's more of like a horror type anime. There's a lot of blood, a lot of darkness to it. It's called Tokyo Ghoul. I absolutely loved the whole thing. It's about the main character Kaneki, who, I can't remember his last name, but I remember his first. He ends up coming across these ghouls. He ends up coming across a ghoul, which the city is pretty much... they're like terrified of the ghouls. The ghouls go around and eat people. That's what they do to live. And coffee is the only thing that actually tastes good other than blood to them. So Kaneki runs into this ghoul and ends up somehow getting the ghoul's powers. He becomes like a half ghoul. And there's this whole story that unfolds. There's a lot of episodes to it, at least I thought, and I was happy because I love animes that last a while, especially ones that I'm really into. So now we're going to go into number 8. I actually had to think about where my fingers were. None other than Full Metal Alchemist. I prefer Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood over the regular Full Metal Alchemist, but I love both a whole bunch, so much so that I got a tattoo, but the tattoo, it's the symbol for alchemy, and it's the symbol that the brothers Al and Edward have on them as alchemists. And what happens in this anime, if you don't know, Edward and Ale, their mother ends up passing away, and they try to use forbidden alchemy to bring her back. Well, how alchemy works is you have to trade something to obtain something. So you're giving something up in order to use alchemy. So they do a forbidden spell thing, and crap, I can't remember if it's Edward or Ale who becomes the. I think it's Ale. I think Edward is the older brother, Ale's the younger brother. So yes, Edward is the older brother. Ale is the one who ends up losing his full body, and Edward loses his leg first, I believe, when they try to bring their mother back, while Ale loses his entire body. So Edward sacrifices his arm to bring his younger brother Ale's soul back to the living world and ties it to a suit of armor that they had in their house. My favorite character in that anime, though, is Roy Mustang. I love it. The gloves, and he just snaps and fire goes everywhere. Now that I'm done nerding out about Fullmetal Alchemist, it's time to get to number 7. Number 7 happens to be, like, it's not as violent of an anime as most of the animes I like. There's a lot of self-development and stuff, and the main character is trying to atone for his brutal past that he had. So the number 7 anime happens to be none other than Rurouni Kenshin. Wow. Kenshin Himura. Let's try, third time. Kenshin Himura. I got it the 4th time. Kenshin Himura. He's the main character. He used to be pretty much an assassin for hire back during the the Edo era in Japan, or was it it was during the Tokugawa shogunate. I can't remember what time period that is, but I learned a lot of Japanese history from it, which some of it I forgot because it's been so long since I've actually watched that anime. You have Kenshin Himura, who they used to call him the Manslayer. And he is now repenting for his sins. He switches sword to a reverse bladed sword, which those who know anything about swords, the side is dull. The front side, the side that's supposed to be the cutting side, and the back side of the blade is actually where the sharp part is, because he's sworn to never kill again after he lost the love of his life during when he was known as the Manslayer. That whole anime is about he ends up falling in love again. He falls in love with this woman he comes across in the beginning of the anime, and she happens to look similar to. I think he was married, but I don't quite remember. So it's a great anime. It teaches a bunch of histories, like the burning of Kyoto, and it talks about that as the historic event that happened in Japan. And it also shows a bunch of different sword techniques that like samurai used. So now it's time for number 6. So it happens to be the shirt I'm wearing. Goku is the main character. It's not just Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. I like Dragon Ball as well. The whole series, all the way from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Super. So it was like 1994 or 1995. I was 6 years old. No, I was a little older than 6 years old. So it was younger than that. So it was before that. So yeah, I was about 5 or 6 years old when I used to sneak up at like 5 in the morning on a Saturday and Dragon Ball was on the TV. It was around 93, 94. So from then on, I just absolutely just followed it all the way through to Dragon Ball Super, which I just recently finished in like January or February, because I only watch like an episode a week because I do a Super Saiyan workout, it's called. So yes, Dragon Ball, the whole series, even though Super is my favorite because the voice acting is a lot, they've improved a lot in the voice acting. So I did absolutely enjoy Dragon Ball Super more than Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. Number 5. The number 5 on my list is Kenichi. Now, the main character happens to be the name of the show, Kenichi. So, yes, it happens to be about him. He wants to be really good at martial arts and stuff. He's a twig. He's, he gets picked on for his size and all that, which I can relate to, not really being picked on, but I always felt, well, actually I kind of did used to get picked on for being skinny. So Kenichi, I could relate to a lot, because he starts off like this weak kid who's like, no matter what I do, I can't get stronger, and I'm really into martial arts. I want to be able to protect others, and that's why I want to do martial arts. That's why I want to become big and strong. I want to protect the ones I love, the ones I care about. He goes through this journey, runs into this girl in school who happens to be a new student. I can't remember her name. But so she ends up taking a liking to him and introduces him to the school, or the dojo that she lives at, where everyone who lives there is a master in each different, like a whole bunch of different martial arts. Like you have Kempo, karate, you have Muay Thai, Appa-chan, Appa. I love Appa. Appa is awesome. He's hilarious every time. He's so much energy. But yeah, he's the Muay Thai master. You have pretty much Kung Fu. That guy knows multiple different forms. I saw like Tai Chi. I saw some Hung Gar. I saw a little bit of Shaolin movements in his fighting style and what he taught Kenichi. But yeah, he's like a master of many different Kung Fu forms. And then you have the woman who's really good at throwing items, throwing stuff. She's like a weapons master. And then you have the Jiu-Jitsu. That's what it was. Jiu-Jitsu was the one I was thinking of. Where you throw stuff around, and so Kenichi gets real strong from learning to throw statues around and all that. He learns all these different forms of martial arts, and just, oh my gosh, it's like the ultimate dream to have masters of so many different forms and learn all these different forms and not perfect them, but like become really, really good at them. But yeah, number 5 was Kenichi.